My goodness. It's 83 years story. I have to tell them. Whatever I am today, whatever my philosophy, whatever my life has brought me, it is because of my father and my mother and the family. It's a beautiful, that was my institution. That was where I learned everything. I mean, I have become a citizen of the world. I am no more just Indian. Though my inside is nothing but Indian, but I have become a part of the world. I find home everywhere. I was born in a tiny little village, very small village. My father purposely kept us in the village. And he said that unless you walk on the grass of where you are born, you do not know your motherland. So you must know every part of that. That's how I learned my first inspiration or recognition of spiritual life was in the village. And then when I was 11, my father went to Paris. He had a business. He was a great patriot of Sri Aurobindo, and we were not very rich, but full of ideals. And so my father used to go to village and says, don't wear glass bangles because they are made in England. So he said not to wear. So the village women says, where can we get money to buy gold bangles? What are you going to wear? So my father said, let the country become independent. We will have gold bangles. So with that thought of, because at that time there was no bank system, there was no nothing. Gold was the only thing which people could save. So my father opened jewelry business not to earn money. It was that after 20 years, you just open a pin and the gold comes out as it is. He was for the women's liberty. Women must stand on their own. That was my father's mission in the village about 100 years ago, I should say, 100 years ago. And so whatever it was, that at the age of 11, I had finished 300 years of Bengali literature. As people did not believe, but it is true. And today also I remember anything in Bengali literature, it is that. Then I went to Paris. My father went once to England and once to Paris for international colonial exhibition with all the handicrafts of ladies, what the Indian ladies could do. Then he had a magazine called Matri Mandir, Temple of Mothers, where about 20 famous literary women have come up, poetess, including from Tagore's family, and they were the regular writers in that magazine. It was only for women. And we used to live in village. We had no idea what dance is or what music is, except in the village what we saw. And that time, when I went to Paris, I did not know a word of French or English or anything. And there, one day I heard that Shankar is here, very famous man, Shankar. I did not know what he does. I thought he is like Rabindranath Tagore, white beard, and he stays and lives in Europe, Paris. So that's what, and I was not interested. So one day in our exhibition, they came, very handsome group, you know, in time. And I said, are you from India? They said, yes. Uh, he said, this is Uday Shankar, this is Vishnudas Shirali and all this. And they are Western dressed, very handsome, very beautiful, decent boys. So Uday Shankar says, my mother is here and I have a little brother, so you come and have, spend the day. I was only 11 and a half. So I spent the whole day. Like that, I came very close to the family, but not to know. No, I did not know what Uday Shankar does. He used to go on tour. He is in Spain, he is in Italy, he is in Switzerland, like this. So one day he invited us to see the performance, his show. I saw it. I had never seen dance before, except village folk dance, folk. And when I saw it, I really, even today, I can't explain what was my feeling. I saw him as a peasant boy, village boy. I saw him as Gandharva, the dancers of artists of the divine artist. I saw him as Indra. I saw him as Shiva. And the music, it was so different. The whole, there were about 1,500 audience. I was like in another world. In my little brain, I had no idea about dancing, but it was something which I can't explain even today. Then I used to go, I was not interested to learn, but it did give me that, what did I see? What did I see? Was it in this world? Something. All right. Then one day, he just asked me, he said, come on, can you do ding tak, tak, ding tak, tak? Can you do like this? And I did it. I had a frock. And I just did like this. Then he gave me a stick. He says, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn like this. And I did it. So whatever he wanted me to do, I did. And then he said to my father, she is very talented. She could be a good dancer. We are going to America. So why not you leave her with us? And my father did not think it, because the dance at that time was absolutely forbidden for families. So then his mother came. He says, leave her with me, because she's a nice girl and I promised to look after her and I'll return her as she is to you. Because I may not stay here long, I may go back to India. So I stayed. And within that 1.5 years I was there in Paris. We had this. It opened my eyes to another world. We went for 8 months, we continuous tour. We started from Paris, from Liège, Belgium. Then we covered the whole of Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Czechoslovakia, Austria, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Italy, every Switzerland. And each place it is at minimum 12 cities, like this. And in Germany alone, 75 cities. And everywhere, back. In Salzburg, it is a very famous place, Salzburg in Germany. And they have a theater, Max Reinhardt Theater, very. And we are giving show, and after the show, 29 curtain calls. 29 times the curtain going up and closing, they won't stop. And then in the end, my husband comes and near the audience and he says, thank you. So one lady in the opera, she was sitting, my goodness, he talks. When they saw him, they used to just sit like this. That's it. As if they are in the temple, they are watching. He had a divine personality. His skin was that whenever light was thrown, it radiated, reflected, like fluorescent. The most beautiful body. Hungary, all these Slovak countries, they had a beautiful culture of their own, which was different from Britain, from Germany, from France, from Italy. It's quite different. And they had so much similarity with our Indian philosophy also. Indian upbringing, Indian village life. We have driven through the villages of Hungary, you know. We had a big autobus and all our baggage and everything we used to carry in that. So sometimes through the village means beautiful road, and we are going, and we stop in a small restaurant to have our food, and the children used to come and go around stand around the bus. It was just like in India. And sometimes old ladies, you know, they come and, oh, look at, I had very big long hair. So she said, ah, beautiful, oh, like this, you know. In England, they won't do that. So, and they are very open. They are very, how beautiful you are, or what a beautiful this, what a beautiful, everything they will. And, you know, wherein in other countries, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? So this was, that shows the old culture. And we could feel that. The older generation, some of the great person we have met, I don't remember, it is in my book all written, met, that they know so much of India and they respected India, they loved India. They opened my eyes at how good it is to be Indian, how proud I am that I am an Indian. They made me feel. It was not my country. It was your country. And Budapest, I remember, I have got the name in my book. He was a great general during the First World War. And I know we are invited in his house. And when after the show, we went, and we were having, they are having drinks and all this. One lady, tiny little lady, she was going to every one of the Indian people and asking, I want to see Uday Shankar, whom I saw dance. Then he came to my husband and she said, I want to see Uday Shankar. Who is Uday Shankar? Which one is Uday Shankar? So my husband says, I am Uday Shankar. You are Uday Shankar? No. He's very tall. He's very tall and he's different. You know, he used to look very tall. There were taller person on the stage, but he used to come out, you know. Everything. So, and then in that house, we saw that in the host, he showed us a silver casket in his house. And he said, look what I showed, this is the greatest, precious thing of my life. And it was a Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It was there. And he told the story that during the war he was a Russian prisoner. And then he was very much depressed. He went through depression. The fight and war and this and about his relative, the same thing what Gita started with. What for all this killing? And then somebody gave it to him, this Gita, in the prison. And when he read that, that changed his life. गति को है धारे बढ़ती जा पत की बाधाएं सहती जा सहती जा सरते बहती husband went to learn painting. He was in the Royal College of Art and he got finished 5 years course in 2 years. He got 2 gold medals. But at that time Anna Pavlova met him. She was dancing and she had been to India and she wanted to compose something on Indian dance, Indian impression. And because of his painting, he was not a dancer, but he had a sense of composition and the color and all. So he composed one dance, Radha Krishna, duet dance that he danced with Pavlova, Anna Pavlova, and a group called Oriental Impression. And he didn't know, he never learned dancing. It was all from his own body it came out. He did not know, he had not seen Kathakali. That time there was no, Bharatanatyam was not revived. It was only as a temple dancers. Good families will never learn Bharatanatyam. It was that time. Kathak was only for court dancers. It was not for a family girl. So this was the situation. And then Pavlova took him for American tour. So he says, his repertoire used to come, maybe Pavlova had a big repertoire, number of dances. And maybe once in a week, Pavlova and Uday Shankar, those dances to come. So one day my husband says, Madam, you are paying me so much, and I am doing nothing, only thus one dance once in a week or 2 times a week. Why don't you let me just stand with something or on this? He says, if you do anything of our country, then I won't give it to you. You are born to show what India has. Don't learn anything from us. But what you learn from Europe is the presentation of the show. The Varnam, which usually they do half an hour to 40 minutes. I did it only in 5 minutes. Instead of 20 repetitions, then I did 5 repetitions. They were to go to America, but his mother did not want to go. She wanted to come back. And she says, I have promised her father to return her to father, and then she can dance. So I came back to India. Then I went, finished my studies. Whenever they used to come, I used to go and stay with them, his mother, because it was like my family, but never thought of love or romance, because I was too young. And I was brought up in a different way, because we had so many brothers, sisters at home. In the college, they used to talk about what kind of husband they want, Because I want this, I want this, I want this. I used to keep quiet. I said, how can I say what kind of man I want in my life? Because I had read so much of literature. And in literature, beautiful characters from Ramayana and Mahabharata and all those godly characters. So that was my imagination of a man. It was not a man just in a dhoti and kurta or a proud trouser and shirt. It was somebody, like radiating with the golden helmet and, So that was my imagination. So I kept quiet. I never talked. So one day, 1935, I was about 16 years old. And I used to dance in music conferences, not like taking money or anything. And I had lots and lots of gold medals. I didn't bother. One day I went to see, he came to Calcutta to give a performance. And he played, his mother, my father, and myself were sitting in a box. And he gave a dance. This is Uday Shankar is going to present a new composition, solo dance, Kartikeya. And when he appeared, I just said, this is the man in my life. The same person whom I have seen from the 11-year-old, and no romance, nothing. But I used to revere him, you used to respect him. He was out of this world person. But I knew that it is not possible. It will never be. Who am I? I know he had admirers, he had lovers, girls, multi-millionaires from America, from Vanderbilt, from Uchi family. They would give their life to marry him. And he says, no, your culture, our culture is different. It will know. So there is no question of my thinking that I love him and that's why he will love me also. I knew that he will never look at me. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, the great patriot, told my father that Uday Shankar is opening an institution in Almora in the Himalayas. Amala must go there. So my father says, no, she's a good writer. I wrote a book on my European tour. And that book was highly praised by Rabindranath Tagore and for school prize and all kind of things. So he says, then my father says, all right, for 1 year I'll send her. I went to Almora. I was in love with him, but I never let it be known to him because I knew that it cannot be. It cannot be. And I think he was a man not to play with marriage. He had hundreds of admirers. Maybe forever, for all my life, I'll be in love with him. I'll never marry, I'll never fall for another person. So it was in Madras, on his birthday, we had a dinner, 12 o'clock. We say many happy returns of the day after the show where we all went to our rooms and he came suddenly at 12:30 in the night. He knocked at my door in Madras. I said, what is it? He opened the door and he was standing. And so I was scared, maybe I have done something wrong. He scolded me. He came, he closed the door, he sat down and he says, I have decided to marry. So I, like an innocent girl, I said, it's very good news. Very good, I am very happy. He said, don't you want to know her name? So I said, tell me. He says, her name is Amala. And I broke down. I cried and cried and cried. So that's what. And I knew that when he has mentioned that he wants to marry him, I asked him also, I remember, I said, how is that? Having known so many wonderful persons in this world and so much of wealth, anything you want, you can get. That you fall for a girl from a village, that to a dark girl. You know what he said? He says, I have tasted the water of all the rivers. I know what is the taste of Ganges. All my, writing capability or all my literature, reading of literature, all went for his work. All this, some of the best ballets that I gave in the story. I dedicated myself completely to him. It was, I surrendered my all what I learned, all what I possessed. It was for him. And when he passed away, we used to talk that how can we live if one of us pass away. But when he passed away, he became more closer to me. He was more alive, I could talk about him. I'm running this school for 36 years now in Calcutta. And then we had one son and one daughter. Beautiful, if you see them. She's not only a beauty, but she's one of the greatest actresses. And Anand became a famous musician. He was the first one to bring this fusing the East and West because he was a classical musician. And suddenly he passed away. I find him everywhere now. That is the blessing I got from Sai Baba. Otherwise, I never believed in all these sadhus and all these miracles and all this, nothing. But somehow he helped me, that he is not gone. Anybody now, I went to South Africa, 7 countries or 2 years back, and ambassador or high commissioner, this Madam Shankar, Madam next this is, can I call you Ma? I say, here is another Anand. I used to say, here is a woman who got everything in life. Everything. I have nothing to ask from God, that God give me this, or I did not have this. No. Childhood, marriage, love, money, fame, art, the happiness as husband and wife. It was not just a man and a woman. It was the what in Indian philosophy called Purush and Prakriti. The God, divinity and the nature together. That was our marriage. And one son and one daughter, both talented, both loved, both. It was a beautiful life. So this is how my life is.
एवं गौरी समीक्षेषम्